Here we go. I'm doing something a little different. Hurt Blessings TV. We're gonna do this reaction. Story of Lil JoJo. I'm sure a lot of you probably know, heard anything from the Chicago drill scene over the past, 10 years or so. How it's been dominating basically the whole music scene. Well, one of the founding fathers, one of the creators, the trendsetters, Lil JoJo. Let's get to it. Long live JoJo.
Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the support I received from you. And as always, all the information in my videos is rumors taken from the internet or the street. I'm not saying the information is fact.
Pick your mans up.
Just because people used to come through shooting us every day. And this block, words can't even explain. Can't even explain.
Yeah, man. New school Valley on 5 Young Money. Young Money, man. They in the building.
600 boy LA, man. LA Capone, man. Get to him, man. Those hey. 2 boys, man. Team
number 9, man. Number 9 shooter. You hear me?
Hey, reach it long, bitch. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you, bitch?
Shit. This it right here. This real. This ain't fake. This ain't fake. Right here.
Selena, he got that ratchet on him.
R.I.P. JoJo, man. You gone, never forgotten, though. We know you holding down up there, but we got you while you out here shooting. Squad.
R.I.P. JoJo, man. Real niggas don't die, they assassinate, man. Scared squad shit, man. R.I.P. JoJo, man.
R.I.P. JoJo, man. Ball of paradise, man. You already know how we rockin', man. We turn up every day for JoJo and our key.
Squad. JoJo, R.I.P.
Here we go.
This is the story of Lil JoJo, one of the most legendary and important figures from the Chicago drill era. He came up during the same time as rappers such as Lil Durk, Lil Reese.
See, now we already seeing how he's talking about how JoJo started out same time as Reese, Duck, Lil J, Lil Durk, and of course Chief Keef. Now, in my opinion, JoJo would have been as big, if not bigger, than Chief Keef had he not passed away. He had so much talent. He had a lot of good energy and charisma. Like, he had the city really, like, just on lock with his whole wave. Then we had to throw in Billy, Billionaire Black, Lil J and them. You know, they had a movement over there. Brick Squad, Wooga World. These was people that was really dominating Chicago. If you really know on that side, you know, a lot of people, they just, maybe because of the explosiveness of what Chief Keef brought to the table, just more on the line of his side of all of them over there on 3 and 600. But, man, JoJo had the city on smash, man.
FBG Duck, Lil J and not least Chief Keef. Lil JoJo was basically the face of the GD movement back then, even more than FBG Duck, who later took over his spot. He also created an entire movement that still lives on today, the BDK movement, which started, or rather escalated, the war with the 300 movement, which included gangs like Lamron and K-Town. Lil JoJo also had a great hatred for Chief Keef, which is YO Block, Front Street, 600 and THF-46 were also drawn into the war. Lil JoJo is truly one of my favorite rappers from the 2012 era. If he had lived today, I'm sure he would have been at the top. He had hit songs such as Tied Up, I Got That Sack, Have It All, and not least BDK. I hope you enjoy this story.
R.I.P. JoJo, Brick Squad General, man. Young man. Charisma, everything. My opinion, JoJo would have been like similar to like how like an impact of an NBA young boy, or even like how Keith was, because he had that. He had all the factors: the music, the charisma, the energy, all these things that you need to dominate the game. He had all those abilities, and he had just all that music and all this, the whole unity with his whole side there, man.
Lil JoJo, whose real name was Joseph Coleman, was born on April 6, 1994 on the south side of Chicago. He grew up in the South Darren area, Trammell Park to be more specific. He grew up together with his 3 months older brother, Swag Nero. Both shared the same father but had different mothers. They lived in different households. However, the households were very close, which made it possible to be with each other all the time. The brothers even used to sneak out in the evenings and nights to hang out with each other. However, very early in the brothers' lives, their father, John Coleman, was sentenced to 13 years in prison for attempted murder. Lil JoJo was only 5 months old when this happened. This forced the brothers' mothers to take care of their sons as best they could. Later, Swag Nero moved to the suburbs up north together with his mother.
Oh, shout out Swag Nero, JoJo's older brother. Swag still out here doing his thing, holding it down, making music, just still representing that whole side, that whole wave. But yeah, man, definitely shout out to Swag, man. Swag Nero.
Lil JoJo also followed and lived there for 2 years because Swag thought Lil JoJo drifted in the wrong direction. In an interview with DJ Vlad, Swag told De Niro that he met his dad after 13 years at his 14th birthday party, but that his dad got locked up yet again the next year for drugs and got sentenced to 22 years in jail. John Coleman is still serving time in federal prison to this day. JoJo and Swag also had a sister, Nakayla, who was born in May in the same year as them. She was originally from Brain Dead, just like Motor from Jaro City.
Big JoJo, Swag.
When their father got locked up, both Lil JoJo and Swag began to enter the criminal path more and more. Sure, before they had probably gotten caught for petty crimes, but once their father got locked up and they moved back to the south side, they became more deeply involved in gang life. However, both stayed away from selling and using drugs, much because of his dad. Swag said they sold weed here and there, but nothing too serious that could get them life in jail. Like most Chicago gang members, JoJo and Swag grew up in criminal circles. Basically everyone in their family was involved in the gang environment. Their dad, cousins and even uncles, and everyone was gangster disciples, which was the reason why they too became so. However, I'm not sure if his father or uncles were insane GD like JoJo. Their mothers were really.
Now look, starting at an early age, Swag, JoJo, two young brothers growing up infatuated with the gang lifestyle, the gang culture that's around them, in love with it, wanting to be just like their uncles, less like their dad, the rest of the family that they think is cool and, you know, has got motion. Everybody wanting to be like that. Every kid want to be or emulate what they see outside of somebody that they admire, and they got motion, they got cars, they got money, jewelry, computers, whatever it is, electronics, games, stuff that fascinates a kid. These things, this allure and this wanting to be a part of a family, have some sort of connection, these are things that really seduce a lot of us out here and getting into situations that we probably wouldn't have been a part of if we had other things going on that would have filled that void, a void inside our minds and our hearts. Because sometimes if you don't have that thing, you're going to be outside looking for it.
The only ones in the family who were not involved in gang life. Both tried hard to keep the family together and their children out of that life. Swag's mother even once found Polaroid photos of JoJo and Swag where they posed with gang signs and therefore gave them the beats. She really tried her hardest to keep them out of it. Growing up, Swag and JoJo had to figure out and learn things by themselves. Because they did not have a father figure around, they themselves had to learn what it means to be a man. They really had to mature and grow up fast already at the age of 12 to 13, which means that they made mistakes which their father could have prevented if he had been there. In fact, one cannot expect children in their early teens to know everything already, how to behave like a man, what is right and wrong and so on, without making mistakes or ending up on the wrong track. It's just too much to ask from a child growing up in that environment where everyone in their family is a gang member, their friends going through the same thing, and the older ones push the younger ones to commit crimes. As many of you already know, Lil JoJo was a rapper, just like his brother Swag Dinero. Swag was actually the first of the two to start with the music. He already started rapping in his freshman year. The producer Smiles from Brick Squad, that most of you are familiar with, saw Swag's talent for rap and brought him to the studio. JoJo, on the other hand, was not rapping at first and did not want to either. It was not until the now mainstream and huge rapper, Lil Durk from Lamron, dropped the song L's Anthem, that Lil JoJo decided to start rapping for real, and by doing that, creating the BDK movement that still lives on today. Many of you probably do not understand this and will maybe call me crazy, but
See, JoJo definitely up there. Chicago legend. Started a wave. Comparing them to greats, man. Legends. King Hoover, free King Hoover. Comparing them to Larry, man. JoJo, man. He's a figurehead. Chief JoJo, man. King JoJo. Long live him. Most solid. Legendary. To this day, his rivals, like Dirk, they still bring this man's name up. Tuka, Duck, these legends, people who shed their blood and sacrificed their lives for the pursuit of their dreams. All these men wanted to do was enjoy their lives, to feed their families, just to be swift away Chicago legends, true Chicago legends. Long live JoJo. Long live Duck. Long live Tupac. Come on.
But Lil JoJo is really a legend among the GD gangs on the South Side. I believe he's actually up there with legends such as Larry Hoover, not in terms of putting in work and getting money, but by creating a strong movement that still lives on and that matters to a lot of people. I see JoJo as the modern version of them. He literally brought the GD gangs together and paved the way for a dozen rappers that carried on his legacy. As many of you already know, both JoJo and Swag, like Smiles, were members of the Brick Squad faction of the Gangster Disciples. Before we go on and talk about Lil Durk's song L's Anthem, and how it escalated the whole war on the South Side, I thought I would tell you about Brick Squad's history.
Now look at this Dirk Ben dissing. They try to make it sound like he's just now retaliating, going back and forth for what people responding to what he's saying about him and his people, Von, his brother, cousin, all that. But he been dissing since the beginning. L's Anthem. He's dissing. Dissing. You see the little evil little smirk he got on. What, they call him Smart, right? Look at him. Come on. Big smiles. R.I.P. Long live Smile.
Brick Squad is an insane gangster disciple set located on 69th to 70th, Normal to Harvard. Brick Squad was created in 2010 by Killa Kells, who originally came from Lamron, but who later flipped to Brick Squad after his cousin Thomas from D-Block was killed by Lil Law, Lil Reese and OTF Twin from Lamron in early May 2010. Brick Squad existed before Killa Kells came along, though under a different name, Dead End NTG, which stands for Normal Town Gangsters. NTG was originally all GDs, but once Killa Kells, who remained BD, came along in 2010.
See, now, I don't know if any of this to be true. I don't know where Chicago 88 be getting his information. This is all, it's on my joint, this is a legend. I don't know about none of this. We watching this together. I ain't never watched this video yet. We're watching this together, so we're going to unpack. It's dropping a lot of information. A lot of information about, you know, how certain groups and things originated, allegedly.
Both Brick Squad and D-Block became mixed with GDs and BDs. In addition to Killa Kells, there are BDs such as Clado, Freaky, Tells and Arpit from Brick Squad/D-Block. Out of D-Block and Brick Squad was D-Block, the original Insane set, which was formed by Clado. Their original name was Dope Block, which was over time changed to D-Block, who were located on 70th and Eggleston. The Insane movement was created by JFL, which consisted of 3 people, Jason, Fluffy and Leo, who all decided to come together and create the Crooked Insane movement, which basically meant they wanted to be renegade ZBK. Previously, people believed that sets such as Pillsville, CMB and Bodie World were insane, but that is not true. However, they are still cool with them. Another thing that needs to be said for you to understand the story is that Brick Squad and D-Block are 2 separated sets. However, they are basically the same thing, much like STL and DBT or Block and 600. They should be seen as separated, but is as close as 2 sets can be.
Killa Kells. freaky.
Brick Squad is allied with sets such as Mob, What the World, STL/EBT, Jaro City, CMB, Dump Street, Tay City and of course D-Block. However, it's not like they slide together with all of those sets, it's more like they're cordial with most of them because they share the same enemies from a decade back in time. The reason Brick Squad became cordial with STL.
See, Chicago 88, you having a lot of information, man. We ain't even into it, man. This dude dropping out everything. Going in. Everything's pertaining getting down to Pacific streets and all that, man. Do you work in the police department in Chicago 88? Are you affiliated with some sort of higher source of law enforcement? How do you get such detailed information? My man's got street names and times and corresponding places. I'm like, that's extraordinary, bro.
STL/EBT in Jaro City is really because of Lil JoJo, who was cool with rapper Lil J. Alliances are largely, especially today, based on relationships between peoples. Back in the day,